Hi, everyone. Welcome to this meeting. I think it's going to be really exciting and educational. If you don't know me, I'm Kat Chrysostom, the CEO and founder of Benefab, and I am joined today by Elaine, who is the president of MagnaWave. So welcome.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about our products and all things good, especially with women in the equine business. So this is great.
Yes, absolutely. So just before we got on here, Elaine and I were talking about just how awesome it is to have two complementary products coming together and two companies coming together and both being women. I totally agree with you, Elaine. This is an awesome venture that we have going, and I think a lot of people are going to be supportive of it, and it's just nice to see synergies working together rather than everybody being so competitive. Competition is good, but sometimes there's complementary things, and we're stronger together. So I think this is a great
I agree.
really example of that.
I agree. And I think that a lot of times people will get caught up in like, oh, well, you have this type of magnetics and you have this. And like maybe they, because we're both in the magnetic field, for lack of a better way of describing it, that people may think that there would be competition there. But what I have found is that Benefab has fit so well into what my practitioners are doing, and they all have benefited from using the product. So it was very interesting to me that they would, I just have, we have like 4,000 practitioners all across the United States. And I probably had, I don't even know how many of them being like, have you heard of Benefab? Have you heard of Benefab? Have you? And so that's kind of what stirred it, because I was like, what is happening? Because I was so interested in learning about you guys. And I think that it kind of the same thing happened in your arena where people were maybe talking about us. And then I'm so glad that we're able to get together, because you're exactly right. They do benefit each other. They're so complementary, and it really kind of brings the whole package, and it really helps the animal in such a great way. And it helps the practitioners with their business. And who doesn't want success while helping the animal?
Yes, absolutely. And it's literally what we founded these businesses for. It's so on point. And what's amazing is, like you mentioned, your 4,000 practitioners all talking about Benefab. And of course, we were brought to you guys because of the same thing. And I personally am a horse owner, horse lover. I know about MagnaWave. I've heard about MagnaWave far prior to this, conversation, and have kind of gotten to know it just a little bit, like hearsay here and there. And then there was a woman in a boarding stable that I was at years ago that had a machine, and I was always fascinated by the therapy and just how it worked, and I always wanted to know more. And as Benefab has grown, we have just found that we have had so many dealers apply to be resellers or affiliates, become affiliates of Benefab, which are kind of secondary to our resellers, meaning they don't actually purchase the product, not secondary in pecking order by any means, but just a different sort of passive income versus stocking like our brick and mortar stores. And what I found, a lot of those affiliates and even some of those dealers were MagnaWave practitioners. So seeing that was just this common theme, I thought maybe we should start a conversation here, and you guys were so receptive to it. And it's just really, it's been really a great relationship so far. And we are so excited to be partnering up and kind of tag teaming this.
I agree. And you know what's interesting is we actually, even before you and I ever connected, we actually had so many people calling us, and we put it in our training where people would say, can I use Benefab and MagnaWave? Like, can I use them at the same time? Can I use the Benefab right afterwards or before? And it was so amazing, because we actually had to put in there, yes, you can use it. Just because we have pulse electromagnetic fields and this is static magnets, they don't negate each other. They actually help, they make what we do, all this great stuff that we do with MagnaWave, whether you use the Benefab before or after, you're helping the treatment last longer, helping the animal feel better for longer. And so that was actually something that we put into our training before you and I ever met, so that people understood that it's not a replacement. It's actually beneficial to use them both. So that's why I'm so excited, because if you do a treatment, you put the Benefab on right afterwards, you're just keeping all of those positive ions and that all of that oxygenation going without in just a very easy, comfortable way.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're finding, is that these horses would undergo a MagnaWave treatment, and then they were introducing their Benefab between treatments, which I know we're going to jump into that more. But let's take a step back just for our viewers here that don't know what MagnaWave is. Like, let's just get really simple, and then we'll kind of dive in more and more to the science. But I would just love to hear in your words, for our totally novice listeners, maybe they've never heard of PEMF, kind of start from the beginning. Tell us about MagnaWave.
Okay, so MagnaWave, we manufacture all of our own machines, and these machines are made right here in Louisville, Kentucky, in the United States. And what they do is they put out a pulsed electromagnetic field. So it's a circle, the coil, it's a coil, and it plugs into a machine, and that machine puts out a clicking, like a pulse. I'm doing the PEMF for dummies, the low down, very easy explanation here. So and with that pulse, it puts that direct pulse of that magnetic field into the body, and it penetrates all the way into the bone marrow. So you're actually penetrating all the way through the tissue into the bone marrow. And some of the things that PEMF has been really known to benefit is to actually cut the healing time in fractures and bone injuries, as well as soft tissue injuries like anything, tendons, and also, even my favorite part is helping the reduction of lactic acid after performance to help the animal feel better, faster, and recover faster. So I like to explain it like this, and just the very, very, very basic way is that all of our cells, a cell is a cell is a cell, no matter what animal or person, right? It's a cell. Cells talk to each other with electromagnetic fields. If the electromagnetic field of the earth just disappeared right now, everyone on it would drop dead. We have to have electromagnetic fields to function. And it's kind of been, it's like a Tesla coil, where that Tesla even did a lot of research into this, but using the electromagnetic fields that are naturally occurring on the earth, which we do, as well as the ones that are beneficial for your actual structure of your muscles and your bones, help you recover faster, live longer, and your cells to communicate better. So we improve blood flow. We help with pulling out that inflammation so that the pain isn't there. It is not analgesic. So MagnaWave is not like anything else, not like Shockwave. Does not cover pain. What it does is, a lot of times, actually 100% of the time, what causes pain is inflammation. If it is painful, there is a swelling, there's an inflammation issue there, right? And what we do is we pull that inflammation out, which allows the body to heal faster and function better, but it actually does, it lessens the pain, but it's not going to cover up an injury. It's just going to allow the body to heal faster from that injury. We have a large array of machines that we sell. We have home use, like personal use machines for people to use on maybe one for a horse and a small animal, or even livestock, all the way up to very large machines that are used where people treat 10 to 12 treatments on animals a day, specifically horses or livestock, even more than that sometimes. So depending on what you want to do, we pretty much have a machine to either help you start a business or add to a business, or just bring, MagnaWave and the benefits of wellness and that PEMF to your own animals.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I love that you kind of built on the science there. Thank you for breaking it down and then building on that. I think one of the things that I find fascinating is we go to a lot of horse shows, whether it's for brand representation or walking through and just making, if it's our sales director or whatever, just making contacts with people. And many times we'll see one of two things, either a Benefab sheet hanging on the stall door, or we actually see a MagnaWave practitioner who's going stall to stall and they're treating these horses. So what I would love to hear from you, because most of the time, and maybe like as a viewer, maybe you guys are watching this and thinking, I've seen that coil and never known what it was. And I know the first time that I saw MagnaWave, I thought it was like really interesting the way that it actually literally was pulsing. The horses, you could see the horse's muscles moving or its body moving. So if you could just dive into like, what is the normal protocol for how often should you do this? I know you talked about home machines. Personally, I have the Simi 10 machine. And, you know, I've really enjoyed that. But I don't know that that's necessarily like the right thing for personal use, or if it is. So I would love for you to just kind of dive into that. And for people who don't have personal machines, you know, how often should they have a practitioner out?
Okay, so that's great. I'm going to start with where you talked about the coil and the palpitations and like the muscles. What we recommend is starting with a setting that's on any of our machines, the lower end of the spectrum, so somewhere between 1 to 4, usually right in like, you know, right in between there, very low, and actually going along a horse. I'm just going to talk about a horse in this example, like
Sure.
you're brushing, and when you are on that lower setting, what you see is that a lot of times you won't get any movement. But if you do, when you get to an area where you are getting movement, that's telling you that there's sensitivity in that area or inflammation. So the pulsing that comes back at that time means that it's actually that magnetic field is interacting and pulsing back on that inflammation. So when you're treating very low, we teach about going over the body in our certification, explain how to find those areas of inflammation or those areas of sensitivity, for lack of a better word. And then you slowly turn the machine up to a comfortable setting for that animal, and you help pull out those areas where that inflammation was. Then we have an app that explains how to do specific guidelines for specific indications. But really, it depends on the injury. So let's just say for general wellness, I would say to do it, just do it at least once a month, if not twice a month, like every 2 weeks is what I would recommend for a healthy animal, that at least, because I feel like you could do it every week even. Just to, especially if they're going to be training. Like if you just have like a horse in a paddock, you know, once a month or twice a month is great when you bring them in. But if you have a horse that is actively working every day with you, and they're sound, I would do it every other day. Just do a full body session. Not necessarily, it could be 30 minutes. We have wings for that. If you can, because it's like if you are working out, you're going to want to massage, you're going to want to do a hot shower, get, you know, those type of things. So this is an athlete, and this is you know, horses are huge, even with your hands. A lot of massage therapists have told me, you know, and chiropractors, that it makes adjusting easier, but it makes it easier for them to massage and feel the animal. They enjoy it because they are so big. It breaks down massage therapist's body to work on animals like that. And so a lot of them bring MagnaWave in to their practice to make it easier for them to get better results and for them to really help the horses, you know, more. Now, if you have a very serious injury on an animal, like an open wound that isn't healing, or let's say a broken bone or anything, a torn tendon, I would recommend doing it if you can every day. If you can, you're gonna cut the healing time, you know, it from 8 weeks to 4 weeks. I've seen it, you know, work on wounds that just could not heal. They could not get it to heal, open wound. And whenever they were putting the dressing on and they do it, then they would MagnaWave every day, and the wound began to heal because you helped stimulate that blood flow.
Sure.
But yeah, so really we teach our practitioners to know what to look for to make a educated decision for each animal. There isn't like a plug and play, like, hey, everybody should do it. It really depends on how often that animal is working and how often and what the problem is that you're treating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes perfect sense. And we find the same thing. You know, people will often ask like, okay, I have a totally healthy horse, but I'm a horse lover. It's my heart horse. Like, I want to take good care of it. It's the only horse that I have. And most of our customers, for lack of a better term, they're weekend warriors. Like, they're 9 to 5 people. They save their money and they need to go, you know, they want their recreational and their excitement is on the weekends at the horse shows, whether that's a rodeo or whatever that might be. And so those people who really care about their horses are looking for more of a holistic approach. They don't want to wait to have some significant injury that happens. Of course, we can't prevent everything. But even now I see, like, we work with a lot of veterinarians as well, and through the Veterinary Science Channel. And what I'm finding is even more of your conventional veterinarians are becoming more and more open to these these holistic therapies, these or just different modalities. Like I feel like holistic almost can sometimes harbor this sort of snake oil, kind of term or feeling. And I think people are just more and more open to these different modalities and what they can do to enhance not only their practice, or for practitioners just to enhance their own business, whatever that might be, whether it's an equine massage therapist or whatever practitioner that is. I think they're more open to it from a standpoint of it's actually really helping their customer, which at the end of the day, we're talking about horses. The customer is the horse. The person is kind of the liaison between, but whoever that practitioner is, they are there to help that horse. And so I think being able to provide these supportive modalities to them is so important.
Yeah, I agree, especially in, I'm in Kentucky. We have horse racing, thoroughbred horse racing. We just had the Kentucky Derby last week. And I will say that watching, there's a tremendous amount of backlash in the equine community right now on all types of levels on the treatment and what we're doing to our horses. And one thing that I've learned recently, I've been traveling overseas and we launched in Europe and expanded into Europe. And the way that, especially in like Europe, Australia, Venezuela, their horse community is much more based in like modality options other than medicines, injections, and all of that. And it's very eye-opening because they don't have the issues as much that we have, but because they're starting at just this true like source of what's going on with the animal and keeping them well instead of just waiting to fix the problem. I'm not saying everybody does that, but sometimes that's our mindset, and we really need to, just like any other athlete, you've got to stay ahead and keep yourself as strong as possible. And, when you brought up your practitioners, that they are weekend warriors, that resonates with me so much because so are a lot of the people who buy our machines will buy one and they are doing it to support their horse addiction.
Yes.
Like they're like, okay, I'm going to get this machine. I'm going to go to shows. I'm going to do treatments at these shows and it's going to help me pay for going to more things and participating in more things.
Yes.
And that really spawns, like sometimes, we'll talk to them and they'll quit their full-time job because they enjoy it. And I think that's one of the great things about Benefab is that if you bring the MagnaWave in and you're doing that, having the option to explain to your customers as a practitioner that, okay, I'm going to do a session for you, but then I want you to put your Benefab blanket on afterwards to keep the horse feeling better for longer. Like that's such a powerful tool for everybody who loves their horses so much to have these two things that work so well together. So I think if I was actively doing treatments like I did so many years ago, I would definitely have a Benefab MagnaWave combo because you've got the best of both worlds.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And now we're both businesswomen and we probably have no time to do horses like we used to.
No, but I treat a lot of people. I get used to doing that. I talk to a lot of people about using PMF, and that's, something that we recommend as well. Like feel it on yourself, right? Before you put it on your animal.
Absolutely. And you know what? I am actually the perfect person to talk about that because I did that. And I will say one of the big things that we always hone in on at Benefab is the convenience. It's easy to use. It's convenient. There's no plugs. There's no hassle. With the MagnaWave machine, obviously there is the need for plugs. But one thing that I find with the MagnaWave machine, at least the one that I use, and then the ones that I've seen other practitioners use, I mean, this is not a whole, if you haven't seen, MagnaWave in action and seen somebody treat an animal, it's not a whole production. I mean, it's quite simple. It's a compact machine. You bring it into the barn, plug it in, and it's pretty, honestly, Elaine, it's pretty dummy proof. Like it's,
4 buttons.
I mean, it's so easy. And the guide that comes with it is super simple. Yeah. And obviously there's an education piece to that, of course, which I know you guys have your education portal, which I do want you to talk on a little bit more just about like becoming a practitioner and how people can get more involved. But just before I jump to that, I want to say like, it's interesting because there's the simplicity around MagnaWave, but it does require you to be on site. Like you're going to have to be there. You have to use the machine and move it across your horse wherever, or the treatment area, wherever you're using it for a specific amount of time. But what's neat, and you touched on this earlier, Elaine, is that then you can put the Benefab on after that treatment. and use it, use the Benefab successfully between treatments. And what we find with the practitioners, the MagnaWave practitioners that are going to see clients very often and, repeatedly, is that they're recommending, hey, use the Smart Scrim, which is our blanket, our horse blanket that has 84 magnets over strategic acupuncture points. But it's also the product that we have clinical studies on that was done at North Dakota State University and actually peer-reviewed and published for back soreness specifically. And what we're finding is a lot of those practitioners are saying, okay, put the Smart Scrim on in between treatments, and they are finding that the horse is holding, that treatment longer and more successfully. So it's a neat complementary approach where that you perhaps can't afford a machine or don't have an interest in doing that. But you can have a practitioner out and then you can use the Benefab in between, which I think is really neat. And depending on, it's interesting that, and it's interesting that you talked about the wounds. I just want to talk for a second about our Versa wraps, because we too do a lot with the veterinary channel, as mentioned before. And what we found is that there's really no bandage that has therapeutic qualities as well as being a bandage that's out on the market right now. But kind of to that same point, there's also, when we're wrapping in a veterinary clinic and you've got open wounds and you've got this like risk for infection and everything, nobody wants to use something that's therapeutic that's not antimicrobial. So that was our Versa wraps, how they were born. That's literally the reason why we developed it. And it's treated for open wounds. So it has the colloidal silver treatment, as well as the therapeutic benefits of the far infrared therapy. So you can use that. So it's really interesting. I actually, before this meeting, I never even thought about open wounds. And I mean, obviously it makes perfect sense with the MagnaWave. So that's a unique part too.
We should do a study. We should get that and put it on. So we should do some sort of study where we use yours and we MagnaWave over it.
Yes, that would be so interesting.
Yes, because if the static magnets are obviously working right there on the ions and helping right there at the skin and underneath and all the tissue. But then if you can MagnaWave over it and you can pulse all the way down into the bone marrow, like all the way down to help get the blood flowing, and then leave the static magnets on, leave the what is it called? I'm sorry.
The Versa wraps. Yep.
Versa wraps. Leave the Versa wrap on to just keep it, keep that blood flow going. Oh my gosh, I love that idea.
Would be so interesting. Yeah, I think we should follow up on that. Let's take a note, and
I'm writing it down.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, that would be super interesting to do. And the other thing that I just want to touch on really quickly before we talk about how people can get involved, I feel like you and I could talk for hours, but before we move on to how people can learn more, what do you find? Because one of the things that we hear more often than not, and we are carried with a lot of chiropractor, equine chiros on their trucks, they'll carry a lot of our pole pads, which is the most popular entry-level item in Benefab and with Benefab is the pole pad, which sits atop the pole, Atlas, or they can put it also, people can put it across the brow band, which the smart version has the magnets. And those sit on top of the governing vessel 24 point, which is a natural calming anti-anxiety point. So if you've got one that's a little nervous off property or something, it's a great tool to use or during horse shows. But with the pole Atlas, what we find is just like, it's such a tremendous, it's a huge bang for your buck. Like it's a $30 retail price point investment. And people who are skeptical, like normally it's what they start with, and then they come back and they're like, okay, I need all the Benefab. Like it worked. I see a huge difference in my horse. But I'm interested to know how, do you guys have a lot of practitioners that are focusing on horses that do get out so often in their pole with using the MagnaWave?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do have a protocol that we talk about. We go over like how to treat the pole, and I've actually gone to barns where they're like, this horse is mean. He's going to bite you. He's going to bite you. He's horrible. And then after a second, once I'm able to get the coil on the pole area, they just kind of drop down and fall asleep. And then I'm able completely relax. And then I'm able to do the body. And that's when they really start releasing. And so I remember this one particular horse, like every time I came in, it was like, he never forgot me. He was so excited because he was the mean horse, and they were like, it's amazing how fast they change. So I think, we definitely, I think that's just the benefit of the magnets, right? The therapy works in that area. And what you said, now the brow band, that's really interesting because it has a pressure point where?
It's just beneath the forelock, the governing vessel 24 point. Yeah. So I always tell people, and that there's nothing more rewarding than seeing that visible release that you're talking about with the horses. And I see it very often, especially in like a horse that has chronic back soreness or something. When you put a smart scrim on, you can literally see them yawning, and I'm licking and chewing and kind of flipping of the eyelids. And I see that all the time with the MagnaWave treatments too. You see like a visible release. And I think there's nothing more rewarding as a horse owner than knowing that your horse is comfortable. But yeah, the governing vessel 24 point is an interesting point. And we work with a lot of Chi Institute graduates, which we were talking kind of the Eastern versus conventional medicine earlier. And to your point, exactly, I think that Eastern medicine, which we do see so much more in obviously Asia, in the Far East, but also we're seeing more and more of that in Europe and more of a holistic approach. And it's not about snake oil or anything like that. It's about the fact that conventional medicine treats the symptom. If you have a broken leg and you need something for, blood clotting or whatever, like, yes, give me a pill. I need something right away. But the kind of on the opposing side of that, Eastern medicine is going to treat the cause. And so if we can use them together, and I think that's what resonates with so many people, it's like if we can use an integrated approach, then we're able to treat both the symptoms and the cause and live really healthy, lives. So I think that's what we're seeing this in veterinary clinics around the nation, and with your 4,000 practitioners. I mean, that's a lot of people that are jumping on board, and we have thousands of stores as well that are carrying Benefab, and so many people are starting to, not only want the therapy, but they're understanding what's behind it. And I think that's really empowering for people to know that they can take control, of their horse's health and routine and regimen, and be able to find people and products to help them.
Well, I agree. And I think that if we can keep our bodies and the animal's bodies sound and not ever have the symptom, right, or a cause, right? I think that that's where people are, like I mentioned earlier, they're only going and looking for things when there's a problem. Yeah. And the thing that, you can't rewind time once that problem starts. Like if you can keep your animal healthier, longer, with less issues. So doing these things that are natural and help the animal live longer, they're going to perform better. You're going to have less issues, like instead of just, doing them afterwards. And I think that that's the beautiful thing. I mean, right now on our website, you can go on, there's a map, you find a practitioner, a big yellow button. And if you click that, you could just put your address in and just find a practitioner near you and go and call them or email them and get a session and try it. Because like you said, usually they try it and that's it. Like, oh my gosh, they come in by doing a session first, just like they come in with you by using the pole cap, and then they come out of it and they say, all right, I like this. I'm going to, do this regularly, and then add Benefab in, and then I'm going to get sessions going. And then, you know what, maybe I should get one for here so that I can treat myself and my dog and, the other horse. And then that goat that I bought my granddaughter that is living out here now, it's amazing. And I don't know, do you guys do any work in livestock? This is just kind of.
We have a bunch of cattle out there that are wearing the smart scrims. And we have actually talked about developing like a specific line for more livestock driven. We've had a lot of sheep owners, like the show sheep that have asked for it. And so it's really interesting. That's a whole other market of itself, you know?
It's amazing. It blew my mind when I started learning about it. Like just the pigs alone it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And the way we have been able to grow MagnaWave in that arena in agriculture, in ag with the livestock and the 4-H has been amazing. I mean, it would be so cool to have like, if you had like a smart scrim for like the pigs or, you know, like before a session, before a, like a show, they could put that on, you know, that would be great. Cause that's what they do. They do the MagnaWave before, but then when they go to the show, they're not able to do it at the show, right? Like they do it the day before, they get their animal ready and they're usually competing. Like they're walking around, they're doing all of the showing. So I think that that's really interesting that we should talk more about that and the wound study.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Another note to take. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think that's the beauty of using the Benefab post MagnaWave. So if you get a treatment, they can wear the Benefab safely up to 12 hours at a time. And there's really no adverse side effects after the 12 hours. It's just we found in our studies that the body basically just plateaus. So there's no really added benefit beyond 12 hours, you know, but putting it on while you're walking around in the arena or while the horses or livestock for that matter, whatever it is, kind of more in the agricultural realm of the horse show or show industry, you know, they can wear it in the stall and just be completely unattended. So you can kind of have the benefit, kind of the best of both worlds. Okay, so Elaine, if people want to get involved, can you just talk a little bit more about your education portal and like what it takes to be a practitioner? If they don't have any interest in becoming a practitioner, how does a personal person get involved and become educated to be able to use their machine?
Oh, okay, great. So specifically anybody who's watching this, you could go to MagnaWave PEMF.com/Benefab. That will be where we actually have a special on the Semi 10. If you go there, it's like $500 off. But let's just talk about how you get started. You know, a lot of times doing something like this, because like you said, it is a machine, you know, there's education that comes with it. It can be a little daunting, but we've made it as easy as possible. So basically you get a machine and your training is included. And what that means is you get all of the training for livestock, horses, personal use, small animals. We have training videos that you take on your own, you watch on your own time. And you can watch all of those videos, whether you are starting a business or not. All of those videos are available for you. So you can watch them at your own pace. You can do as much education as you want there. I recommend that even if you're just doing this for personal use with your own animals, to get certified, because there's all sorts of benefits. Like we have an app that you can download, which has, like I said, all those guidelines for, again, livestock and horses to help you gain that confidence on how to use the machine, because you can't really do anything that's going to hurt the animal. There's just, the machine is incredibly safe, and it's very similar to what you said about wearing the blankets for 12 hours. Like you only need to do like 30 to 45 minutes, at the most an hour if you're treating every hoof, and kind of slowly. That's it. And most of the time, anything more than that, the body has absorbed all the energy it needs. So at that point, there's no reason. It's like working out for 5 hours when the first 2 hours is really all you were going to get any benefit from. So yeah, so it's a very easy process. Besides all of the education, which is available again on your phone, you can do the training anywhere, anytime in your car. We also have hands-on training, which is in the spring, summer, and fall, almost every single Friday. And that's here in Louisville, Kentucky. We actually have the MagnaWave Equine Transitional Facility that we go to, and it's excellent, where we do hands-on training on horses, on people, and on small animals. So all of that is a full day with us. We take you to lunch. So you have that option as well to really gain that confidence. And if you want to start a business or add to your business, I found in the very beginning when I started doing this, there were so many people who were just trying to be graphic designers and stuff, and trying to like make their own videos, and it was overwhelming to them. We have like a plug and play business system where we have all your marketing materials. We can customize them for you. We have banners, show setup. We have forms that you can use to fill out. We have business cards. We do video booklets, like everything is there, even like graphics. We do graphic design, so we'll help you design your logo. And I teach an entire class that goes through step by step, like how to get your LLC, like what insurance do you need, where, and so that class is taken at your own pace. And then I have another level that you could take after you've been in business for 2 years, where we talk about how to hire people, how to expand, how to make, a little bit more money. So we really do make it a very plug and play system where if you want to start something like this, we can help you be successful.
Yeah, I love that. And I will say you absolutely make it plug and play. And that's something that we are really passionate about at Benefab, which is part of this synergy and kind of coming together and being collaborative in this. We too, for our affiliates, make it very plug and play. So we've got places where you can grab banners and, get your links, and we send out these welcome kits, and you get the kind of the brand story and this just like absolute plug and play model where you can follow. And I do want to say, if you're interested in being involved on the Benefab affiliate side, visit the link that Elaine said, and we're going to post it here as well. So if you're watching your screen right now, you're going to see that posted across. Go there. If you are a MagnaWave practitioner, you can become a Benefab affiliate. And you can do that they'll have a link there on that page. I'm certain of. I'm assuming that will be there.
I love right? that they could, yes, we will. So it's MagnaWavePEMF.com/Benefab. I believe that we'll have a QR code that we can put up that you guys can see. It should be on the screen, so you can just scan that with your cell phone. And the interesting thing is you can sign up to be an affiliate, which I love that idea, because that is just a way if you're a business person, to be able to bring some revenue into your business while doing sessions and helping your customers, get a Benefab and use that in between. You're going to look so good because you're the whole package. You've got everything, and your customers are going to be happier for longer. So I love that idea. I saw you get up and get your machine.
Yes, I did. I got up and got my machine because I just wanted, we're talking about this and I wanted to just show. So everybody, this is the Semi 10 machine, but I mean, look how compact it is. So it opens up and there's literally like 4 buttons on the inside. Is there even 4? You said 4.
I mean, the like power on, the up and down, the start and stop.
And the little, yeah. So, I mean, it's super easy, but I just wanted people to actually see how compact it was. Because it's not, I mean, sometimes when you see the MagnaWave practitioners, I know there's a much larger machine too. But I just wanted to showcase that. And it comes with this amazing bag with the coils and everything in it. So it's just super easy to use. I wanted you guys to see that. And I had not planned to do that, but it lives in my office because I was doing myself actually recently. So it wasn't living at my barn. It was living right here in my home office. But I will say also, I just wanted to touch on that affiliate kind of benefit to becoming an affiliate. I think, and we too, if you guys are Benefab customers or MagnaWave practitioners or just interested in getting involved, we will be dropping another QR code here where you can learn more about Benefab and kind of our approach to things, and learn how we are coming together with MagnaWave in just a little bit more depth. We've got a really great article if you want to read more on the products or be able to shop around or whatever. We'll have all of that right here for you. But one of the things about becoming an affiliate, like Elaine says, like it's super beneficial for you and it makes you look great. But one of the things that I love so much is that it reduces your risk hugely. So Elaine has seen our welcome kit and knows what's in it. But when you become a Benefab affiliate, and if you're going through MagnaWave, you're actually going to be getting some really special like enhancements and incentives You can obviously save on the Semi 10 machine. But in addition to that, you are going to be able to attend, which if you're watching this post this happening, that is okay. We're still going to do other webinars from time to time. You guys can just write affiliates at benefabproducts.com or affiliate at benefabproducts.com and just ask, hey, when's the next business blueprint training? But if you do sign up through MagnaWave, if you're a MagnaWave practitioner now, you can sign up to become a Benefab affiliate. Once you're approved, you can actually go into a 4-step series. And kind of to Elaine's point, a lot of times we're passionate about therapies, and I find that a lot of passionate horse owners, whatever decision makes them take that next step and become a massage therapist, a MagnaWave practitioner, whatever, a vet tech, whatever it is that makes them take that next step, normally they feel almost crippled once they get there, especially if they've graduated from a school. It's like, where do you go next? And I think that, Elaine, you've addressed that in a beautiful way by having this education portal and these classes for people to take. So that's an excellent approach. What we are doing is kind of the same idea through our business blueprint workshop. So I'm going to be joined by Mandy Bass, which is a world-renowned success coach. She's amazing. I've worked with her for years, and we're going to be doing a 4-part series where you can come and you literally are going to learn, like, step by step, figuring out your why, what's your positioning statement, and understanding people's communication, different skills and habits and things so that you can better communicate with clients. You're not going to sound salesy. You're going to enjoy what you do, and you're going to be able to increase revenue. And what our promise is to you is that you're actually going to walk away with a true blueprint. And it's not something where we tell you a whole bunch of stuff. We don't actually tell you how to. Mandy is amazing. I've attended so many of these workshops, and we've done them. I mean, I've had her training in-house for us. Like, she's just an awesome person, super likable, and you're going to walk away with literally a poster of, like, where to go next and your goals, you know, as a practitioner or as a Benefab affiliate. So it's just a really unique approach. And I think that that's something we can create products. There are amazing inventors out. But they haven't really taken it to the next level of how can people join that mission. And I think both of our companies have really done that.
Yeah, we do the same thing. It's funny because yours is business blueprint, ours is business builder. So they're both B's, but we do a very similar approach where we set the goals for, like, the first 5 years, and we have them put times to them. And it kind of, I have like a mountain, Mount Everest, and the top is like the 5 years, and we set base camps all the way up to the top. Yeah. And then you print it out. And because that's what I did when I started really working towards making MagnaWave successful. Like, my dad and I were in like this old basement that flooded. And I was like, you know what? I got to, like, set some goals, because how do you grow your business if you don't have goals? I mean, you have to know what's next and where you want to be. And I think you're absolutely right. That's a hard thing. So that offering that is paramount. And especially being able to, once you take that course, either place, you're going to see that bringing in these other options and working with complementary therapies is always going to help you get to that next step on your goals.
Yes, absolutely. And it's passive income. Like, a lot of times these affiliate programs are totally passive income. So for you know, our affiliates, like, we have these great Benefab lanyards, and what we do is we custom print these ID badges. And so a lot of, like, right now, the MagnaWave practitioners that are doing, like, the dealerships for Benefab that we talked about really early on, they wear these lanyards to the barn, and they talk about Benefab during a session. Literally, there's a unique QR code on there that the person just scans it with their smartphone and goes to the Benefab site. They get an incentive. Normally, that's free shipping that's automatically embedded into the cart through that QR code, and that's all linked to the affiliate, so to that practitioner. So it's super easy, and they get their, you know, commission, but they never had to really, other than talk about it, obviously, and you know, approach the client if it's a good fit. Why not? They're already normally talking about it anyway, so why not have that there so that they can benefit and really their hands are clean of it. They never have to ship it. They don't have to, you know, really do anything. So it's just a simple plug and play sort of approach, which I think is, yeah. Yeah. And I love that we didn't really get to talk about this, but that it's a family business. And yeah, yeah, that's really exciting. It's great to see second generation and your passion, you know, about it. It's just really, really awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. I agree. Your passion is also awesome. And I think that that's what we need more of in this industry is, and any, you know, just how can we do better? How can we help people be more successful? And how can we help more animals and people? That's, you know, that's our entire core values. And our mission was to treat as many, I think it was like 1 million something, you know, as many animals and people that we possibly can, like spreading PMF, because it amazes me how many people, and they're people who have dogs, just humans walking around complaining about pain, and you know, dog owners who have things like hip dysplasia. And you know, a lot of times people don't know that there's other options out there in those two realms, because they're like, oh well, I take pain pills, or I have surgery, or I have to go do injections or surgery for my small animal. Where in horses, especially competitive horses, they're always looking for options for their, I don't know why that is with horse people, but it is, you know, people are a little bit more open-minded and searching things out, where I feel like in those two realms, it's very frustrating to see somebody complaining. I'm like, just try it. Just try something else. Like, just, you have nothing to lose to try something like this, you know? And I feel like that is, you know, kind of my goal is to get more people who think that they have no options aware that there are other options out there. There are other things besides injections and surgery and drugs. There are other things that can help you. And I think, you know, after COVID, a lot of people are opening up to newer things and seeing that everything isn't black and white. There are so many other ways that they can get healthy and stay healthy. So especially for, you know, animals and people across the board, it's important to integrate these things into your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we didn't really get to talk much about our dogs, but we always say we have a full line for horses, humans, and hounds. And it's true, you know, 98% of horse owners own a dog. So the mass majority of horse owners, I mean, pretty much all of them, overwhelming majority own dogs, and these machines can help your dogs too. And same thing with Benefab. We have a full line for horses and for our dogs. And you know, it like really puts that in perspective how many dog owners there are, because it's less than 2% of dog owners own a horse. So it's just really interesting, like the statistics. I know, isn't that amazing? I read we are part of the American Pet Products Association, and they always publish this like incredible, it's like a phone book survey, you know, and this is pre-COVID, but I read that statistic and almost fell over. It's like there's just so many dog owners out there. But to your point, that industry is definitely behind. It feels like the horse industry and people seeking different things. But to the contrary, I think there's also the horse industry is flooded with businesses that don't necessarily have, you know, all of the science and the research behind the products. And so I think because of that, we have it's a smaller market, but it's almost more noisy in really stepping through it to say like, okay, let's talk about the science. Let's become educated and actually really make the right choice on what brands we go with. And so I think that this was great to be able to bring that to our viewers. And I just really appreciate all that you put into today, Elaine, and you joining. And I'm excited to see where all this goes. I know other people will be as well.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Kat. I know that we've been enjoying the Benefab here that we have, and hopefully everybody can, get in. If you haven't tried MagnaWave, go find a practitioner, at least try it. If you're a Benefab person, and if you're a MagnaWave person, you haven't tried Benefab, try Benefab, get yourself the scrim or whatever is perfect for you, and join the affiliate program and get certified, because it can be beneficial for personal use, and business use. So I'm excited to see where it goes. We should probably do another one of these next year and see how things go.
Yes, after that research that we're going to do. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Super. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.